What is up and welcome to the Sticky Art channel. In this video I'm going to be going over some really good options for artists looking for a drawing tablet with a screen, and all the ones that I'm going to be going over today are going to be from Apple. So recently I upgraded my Wacom Intuos 4 drawing tablet to a Apple iPad Pro 2020 model 12.9 inch drawing tablet. The main reason I wanted to do this was I wanted something that I could take on the go. I didn't need to plug into a computer, and also something that had a built-in screen so I could draw directly on the screen. Personally, don't think you need to go with an iPad Pro if you're just looking to use Procreate or some of the other drawing apps out there. Pretty much all of the current lineup of iPads or current gens will work with Procreate and the Apple Pencil 1, and then the Apple Pencil 2 is only going to work with iPad Pro, and there's only some small differences. I'll go over those in a little bit. But just going over, basically, there's the iPad Mini, iPad Air, and iPad Pro. The iPad is going to be your basic one. It starts at $329, and it's a really good option if you're just looking to get a drawing tablet with a built-in screen. So it comes into different options as far as 32 gigabyte or 128. Definitely up to you. It's a $100 difference, but for me, I think most people can get away with 32 gigabyte. However, if you plan on doing animation, you'll definitely want to go with a little bit bigger size or get an external hard drive to fit everything, because you'll run out of space pretty fast. Now, the pencils from Apple, there's two different generations. There's the Apple 1 and the Apple Pencil 2, the number 2. And the main difference is just how they charge. And then there's a couple other features that are built into it I'll go over in a little bit, but the main thing is just how they charge and which iPads will work with what. So the actual Apple Pencil 1 will work with all of the current generation iPads, and they're not going to work with any of the older ones. It's just the current generation, but they are great working with Procreate because you get a lot of pressure sensitivity as well as the palm rejection. So if you put your palm on the screen, it's not going to pick up that as a drawing line or erase line. It's not going to mess up your image. And it charges via the lightning adapter at the back and comes with an extra little adapter piece, or it comes with an extra drawing nib. So the main difference between an Apple iPad, if you're looking at it for the sense of the Pro versus the most basic one, is going to be the processor speed. So there is a slight difference in how fast the response time is. It is very, very minimal. A lot of people are barely able to notice it. Unless you're doing them side by side, you're not going to notice a huge difference. The other thing that you get with the iPad Pro is a laminated screen versus a little bit thicker screen on the iPad and the iPad Air and iPad Mini, which if you're looking at it directly on and next to each other, you can kind of see, but it gives you a little bit more accuracy just because the screen is a little bit thinner for what you're drawing on. But other than that, very, very similar. So once again, if you're looking for something to do Procreate on, I'd highly recommend going with either the basic iPad, or if you're looking for an upgraded one with a little bit better camera and some other features, you can look into it, but the iPad Air is a really good option as well. And the third option out there is the iPad Mini, which it is nice, but if you are looking for it for creating and drawing, it is a really small screen and it can be difficult. However, some people really like that, and it's also very portable. So all really great options. It's just depending on what you want to do with it. So I'm going to go over some of the features that are a little bit different on the iPad Pro, as well as what you can do in Procreate now. One other big difference too with the iPads is going to be the RAM. On the iPad Pro, it's got, I believe, 6 gigabytes of RAM on all the current edition ones and 4 in the older ones. And then on the current generation iPad, it's going to have, I believe, 3 gigabytes. What this means for Procreate is just mainly the number of layers that you can have on one art piece. So if you make some bigger images, especially higher resolution, you really get limited down to a few layers. With the iPad Pro, you can go very, very large size files, almost 20 inches by 30 inches, I believe, is one of the bigger ones that I've tried on there, and it still has 5 layers, which is at 300 DPI, so print quality DPI. It's very, very, very good quality. And at the with the smaller ones, you're not going to be able to do that. They give you less layers. So some of the things that are really nice with the Apple Pencil and the built-in with Procreate is the ability to draw a circle and then using some of the other gestures by pressing your finger down, it'll turn exactly into a circle, and you can turn it back and off depending, and once you lift it, it will turn into a circle or not. You can also use these to fill colors by dragging color blobs into the circles once you've drawn it, and it automatically knows, as long as you close the line up enough, it will fill in just the circle. If you don't close it, it's going to fill the whole outline, which you can easily, just by pressing 2 fingers down, undo. Just so you can see, this is the Apple Pencil. Depending on how much you press down, it allows for a lot of different pressure sensitivities. So you can really get fine lines, light lines, depending on how light or hard you press down. And another really cool feature that is only going to be on the Apple Pencil 2 for the Apple iPad Pro is going to be the double tap, which you can double tap on the actual pencil, and you can program it to either change to an eraser, or there's some other options in there too. I believe you can change the color palette or pull up the color palette, different things like that. I have mine set to an eraser so I can draw, and if I make a mistake and I want to change it, rather than tapping the eraser button, I just double tap and I now have an eraser, and then double tap again and it goes back to drawing. And pretty much all the Procreate is go into almost a pixel level. So you can get a lot of detail in there. You can zoom in and you can draw on it at any pretty much zoom level. The other thing that I really like about the iPad interface is not having all that extra buttons. You can undo just by tapping with 2 fingers, and then you can actually redo as well just by hitting the screen with 3 fingers. Apple has made some upgrades to the Apple Pencil 2. Not a huge difference, but there are a lot of little things that are kind of cool. They made it so the actual pencil is magnetic, and it goes on the Apple iPad Pro 2020 and 2018 version. Sticks there and also recharges. It has strong enough magnets that it'll actually stick on there if you shake it or if it's in a bag. Some of the changes they made to the outside was, instead of it being perfectly round, it's now got a flat side to it, as well as one piece other than the replaceable nib. And it also is a little bit nicer to hold on to. With the flat side, you get a little bit more control, and it also has a little bit nicer feel to it since it is a kind of satin feel rather than a gloss like the old iPad pencil. Other than that, they are very similar. Once again, overall, all of the iPads that are currently available are great for working with Procreate. The biggest difference is going to be what you're really looking to work on and your personal preference as far as screen size goes. There are some older generation iPads that will work with Procreate, however they do not work with the Apple Pencil, so you will be using a stylus that does not take advantage of a lot of the pressure sensitivity and other features in Procreate. Other than that, I hope this video was helpful. If you do have any other questions, feel free to ask them in the comment section below. And until next time, peace!
I don't even know who you are. It's my destiny. Tip the cosmic scales to balance. I know what I must do. I will
Smash that bell.